Namaste. I've been wanting to share with you and talk to you about the importance of gratitude during this time period where we're all in lockdown. And it was an interesting thing today. We got some news here that in our local village, and we're in the Peloponnese in Greece, and I'm staying with Gabby Burt and her husband in their summer home, even though it's very cold here, because we were here when we went into lockdown. And so we've been in lockdown for 5 weeks, and Greece has been having, touted as the model country because it's not only been locked down, it's been police enforced lockdown. So if we have to go to the grocery store, we have to send a message to the police and they give us a code that we can get. And if we go to the doctor, that's a different code. We go to the pharmacy, it's a different code. And actually, the very first time Gabby and I, we went out and we got a supermarket code and we went for a walk. We drove down to the sea to go for a walk on the ocean. And it was the first day that we were in lockdown. And this was 5 weeks ago. And the sirens started and they said, stop walking, and turn your camera off, because I was shooting a video like this. And they said, what are you doing? And we said, well, we have a code. And he looked at it and he said, well, first of all, this is a code for the supermarket. But secondly, you're not allowed to walk unless you walk from your house. Where do you live? And we said, well, we're way steep up that hill, 1.7 kilometers. And he said, well, you can't walk from your car. You have to walk from your house. And so it's been very strongly police enforced lockdown. And amazingly, during the last 5 weeks, there have been 0 cases of coronavirus, because I was so grateful to everyone locally that they took the lockdown seriously. No one felt rebellious. You'd go to the store and you'd get a number, only 10 people allowed in the store. They'd even give you gloves, hand sanitizer. You could walk around. They'd put a perspex, sort of a see-through plastic covering between you and the cashier when you went to the cash register. And so people were being very respectful of each other. And, you go to, let's say, the grocery man, and he just produces produce. He says, what do you want? And he wouldn't even let you in his store. He'd hand it to you. And you'd hand your credit card at a distance. And, I just felt so grateful. Other people say, oh, my God, your lockdown is so harsh. It's so, it's like a police state. I was speaking with someone in America, and they said, it sounds like you're in a police state. And I said, no, we're in a state where people care about each other. They're doing the distancing and abiding by the lockdown because they care about each other. And we've had 0 cases of lockdown in this portion of the Peloponnese. Of coronavirus in this portion of the Peloponnese. And so every day I'm rising up aware that I've been very trapped, curtailed, not allowed to move at all. And I found out that there was a hotel that the government had taken over for refugees and migrants. And the entire hotel that was being supported by government employees, 150 people in our area, just a few miles away, have coronavirus. And some were helicoptered to Athens hospital, and some were, taken to local hospitals. And suddenly, now we're not only in police enforced lockdown, but we have curfew. We're not allowed to even drive a car or go out at all, leave our houses between 8 p.m. at night and 8 p.m. in the morning. And we're not even allowed to go for a walk from our house. You get 2 codes: pharmacy or doctor or supermarket. And they're testing all the supermarket employees, and they're very fierce about protecting their people. And when I heard the news, my heart went out, obviously, to those 150 people that had it. But my gratitude just came up. I teared up in my gratitude to everyone else that I'm living with in this area, in this beautiful area of the world, which is so community spirit oriented, that everyone had been so good about all of our distancing rules. And then I read the newspaper that in America they're protesting because they have quite uh, a loose compared to what we're in lockdown. And they have no idea that, when you look at Italy, Spain, even Britain right now, America is currently the epicenter. And I don't feel constrained by lockdown. I am grateful. And I'm so grateful that every day I've been posting these videos so as to support you during lockdown, to face and clear whatever issues here, to have yoga, to have nutritional support, to learn how to cook things that are vibrant for you, movement videos, and facing and clearing your worst fears. And we're living an amazing time. If this pandemic had happened 20 years ago, none of us would be able to connect in this way. And I just find, okay, I went to the refrigerator today because I didn't even know if there would be any supermarkets open. And I thought, well, how can I make this last until such a time as we are allowed to go? And all I could feel was waves of gratitude. And interestingly enough, I then got online and started to say, well, what is the biochemical and neurological effect of gratitude? And they did case studies where people who kept a gratitude journal every day, this group of sick people, were 23% were healing faster than the other people who were just living in their worry and their stress and their shutdown while they were ill. And then I read another neurological study that said that it stimulates the limbic part of our nervous system, and it releases serotonin and dopamine, which are joy drugs, and that often people think they have gratitude because happiness is here, but it's actually the other way around, according to science, that when you are grateful, it induces the bliss drugs to be released into your bloodstream and to the joy drugs. And so it tends to happen. I've always said to people in my seminars that life, God, the divine, loves a grateful heart. That when instead of your cup being half empty, your cup is half full. That when you truly have a grateful heart, it's almost like life says, more of that they're grateful for will be added unto them. But when a heart is half empty, complaining about things that we cannot change, worrying and stressing and negative to thinking, well, we release the kind of biochemistry that actually shuts down our access to these natural joy drugs, these natural bliss drugs in our body. So I feel that right now we're at a stage where you can't afford not to be grateful. You can't afford not to be grateful. That we're at a time that if you want to stay healthy and you want to be infused with joy and happiness, then I'm not asking you to be a Pollyanna and only look on the bright side of life and the silver lining. I'm asking you to get real and realize how blessed you are. Take time to focus on the little things. I am just so blooming grateful. I skidded into Greece 2 days before lockdown, and my husband and Gabby's husband skidded into Greece hours before we went in police enforced lockdown. And a week before they closed all the borders so no one else could fly in. And so every day I just take time to thank life for the synchronicity of what's happening. my bread and butter, just like many, many people, their livelihood has been completely shut down. And as those of you that know me know, that I give seminars, live seminars, where I'm traveling all over during this spring. It was supposed to be every single week in a different country of Europe, giving these very liberating and powerful seminars. And in one heartbeat, my whole livelihood was shut down. And I remember uncovering a quote that was on my refrigerator when a series of disasters had happened to me. And it was a magnet that a friend of mine gave to me. And I'd had one disaster after another happen to me. And when I looked at that quote, I never paid any attention to it before, but it somehow leapt off my refrigerator. And it said, "Know whatever comes unexpected to be a gift from God. And it will surely serve you if you use it to its fullest. It's only this that you strive for out of your own imagination that gives you trouble. Know whatever comes unexpected to be a gift from God. And it will surely serve you if you use it to its fullest. And so one of the ways I'm using this time, I can't change the fact that there are roadblocks now, not letting anybody out of this village or into this village. I can't change the lockdown, the severity of the lockdown. But what I can do is use it to its fullest and spend time each day being so grateful I'm here with my loved ones, that I somehow have food to put on a table, that I, even though there's no money coming in, as a matter of fact, we're living off of savings, that I'm able to serve life. And for the last 5 weeks, I've been creating these videos to support you through this unprecedented time where many of us are struggling and in stress and have lost our income. And so take time each day. Create a little journal of what you're grateful for. I heard today from Gabby that one of our Journey Beloveds, she's working for a beautiful well-being center in Gwingana in Australia. And she said she uses every time that she has to wash her hands as a time for meditating on what she's grateful for. Just grateful that she has soap to wash her hands. Grateful that there is water coming out, that it's actually warm because there's electricity to warm her hands. And just uses every part of her day as an opening to experience gratitude. So besides all the healing effect of living in gratitude gives to your body and how much it actually heals you biochemically, it allows this joy to emerge. So what is it that we're going to do? Focus on the little things that we're grateful for and cherish this time where life has invited us to slow down and stop the busyness and go inside and nourish yourself and invest in yourself. Or do we want to just be part of what's creating all the negativity in our world right now? Which camp are you going to be part of? That which is offering support and nourishment and love and gratitude to our world, or the camp that's trying to tear down all the good work that others are doing? You're not just damaging your own nervous system and your own body. You're hurting the consciousness of our world when our world needs us most. So take time, get a little journal or a piece of paper, and every day open your heart and really allow to pour out of you, or find a loved one and take a minute or 2 minutes. You know what I'm grateful for in you today? You know what I'm thankful for? I find my husband, Kevin, and we've been naturally doing this, not because we have a method or an exercise or a process that we do every day, but we just take a moment to open with how lucky we are to have one another after 26 years in this relationship of shared love. How lucky we are to have a body, and I'm so grateful it's healthy. How lucky we are to be able to connect with all of you and still do this liberating work, even while no income is coming in. And how blessed we are to be able to serve life. And so this is an invitation to gratitude from your soul to open into how blessed we all of us really are. And a heartfelt namaste.